means by which we motivate conflict.
Yes, indeed. It's a horrible thing. It is toxic to Republican government, to the maintenance of our democratic institutions. Cornell has plenty of experience with death threats. I myself do as well. Someone went to jail for 3.5 years for threatening to kill me, federal prison. We know what it's like to speak out, and as a result of speaking out, to draw the ire of people who are not satisfied simply to answer words with words, but who are prepared to resort to violence. But we have to make clear that it is unacceptable. All Americans have to make clear. America's political leaders have to make clear. America's religious leaders have to make clear. Anybody who's got cultural influence has to make clear that political violence is simply unacceptable. As it happens, Cornell and I were guests on Charlie Kirk's show just a few months before the horrible assassination of that young man, husband, father of two. We had a wonderful conversation with him. Neither Cornell and I nor I completely agreed with him. He didn't completely agree with either of us, but we had a very fruitful dialogue. And of course, he was a bit further from Cornell than he was from me politically, but he treated Cornell with great respect and dignity, and in fact invited him back onto the show to have a one-on-one so that they could further explore the points on which they disagreed and perhaps some points on which they converged. So it was especially hard. We were both especially hard hit, having had that experience with Charlie when the dreadful news came of his assassination. My worry is in the wake of political violence, like a violent act like that. We had the same worry back in 1968 when Robert F. Kennedy was assassinated after the assassination of Martin Luther King. We were worried then, we're worried now. Will this trigger a cycle of violence? Will some people say, all right, this shows us that answering words with words, working in the political sphere is fruitless. It's futile. It can't ultimately work. The only way we can advance our cause is to resort to means other than words, other than politics. In other words, to resort to violence. And once that starts, it is hard to stop it.
Yeah, Cornell,
That's how you get situations like the ones we all know about in history, whether it's in Northern Ireland or in many other places where once the feuding starts, once the violence starts, it's hard to put an end to it.
Yeah, Cornell, to Robert's point, how does the assassination of Charlie Kirk compare to some of the history that you both have been talking about, and what concerns you about what that moment and its aftermath, its response, is going to lead to?
Well, I just think of the courageous responses to assassinations. I think of Emmett Till's mother when she said, I don't have a moment to hate. I will pursue justice for the rest of my life. I think of Martin King's eulogy for the 4 precious girls in Birmingham, where he talked about the love that we have to hold on to and the justice we have to promote. Sister Erica Kirk, I salute her because her courageous call for forgiveness. Forgiveness is the attempt to push revenge back and talk about justice and love. She did it as a Christian. She was unbelievably courageous in terms of doing that at the very moment that her precious husband had been murdered. Those responses make a difference. That's where courage comes in. And part of the problem of our political class and much of our ruling elites, let alone fellow citizens, not enough moral courage, not enough civic courage, not enough fortitude, courage and magnanimity. Courage and strength of character lead to fortitude. That's what's missing. That's part of the spiritual crisis, the moral crisis of our day.
There are a lot of different conversations.
Brother Cornell is echoing here. He's echoing the great Soviet dissident, the great writer Alexander Solzhenitsyn, who came to this country in 1978, spoke at the Harvard commencement. It was actually Brother Cornell's commencement. He was there within the walls. I was there as a graduate student, but it wasn't my graduation year, so I was listening from outside the walls there at Harvard. But we both heard Solzhenitsyn's speech, where he said that the fundamental problem in our country is that we have lost our courage. We have lost our civic courage, and we have not fully regained that courage yet. So we need to be working on that. We need to be working for it. We need a restoration of courage. That's related to the call for integrity, because to have integrity these days takes courage.
Well, I think there's a conversation about courage going on right now among both parties, and everyone's sort of searching for what that looks like. Some are searching earnestly, some are searching more politically. I think we saw that play out with this government shutdown, the longest in history. There's talk about a potential resurgence of that happening again in January. There's a story in Reuters where they write that the deep political divisions that led to the 43-day shutdown in the first place remain unresolved. What is your advice to lawmakers in this moment? Is there too much emphasis on winning? Do they have something right? For Democrats, you know, one of the reasons that they really pushed for the shutdown for so long was to show some semblance, in their words, of political courage, of fight that they believe voters were asking for. But it also did cause a lot of pain. Like, how do you navigate and think about courage as a politician in this moment when winning does matter so much to so many people, Robert?
Well, I mean, it seems to me that the shutdown was ridiculous. It hurt a lot of people entirely unnecessarily. I'd hate to see this happen again. As I say, it's completely unnecessary. It's game playing. That's not courage. Come on. Courage means standing up for what is right, especially when it's hard to stand up for what is right, when you pay a price for standing up for what is right. And in the Democratic Party, that will sometimes will require standing up to the more extreme elements of the party, and same on the Republican side. Sometimes that will mean standing up against the more extreme elements of the party on the Republican side. That's not to say that the truth is always in the center. The truth isn't always in the center. But you've got extremist groups on both ideological wings and in both political parties that are intimidating other people into acquiescence, at least silence, and sometimes even acquiescence and cooperation. And we need the courage for people to refuse to do that. We're not going to do that. We're not going to let you bully us. We're not going to let you push us around. We're actually going to do what is for the common good. And sometimes that's going to require actually negotiating, actually compromising, actually trying to put the interests of the country, the interests of the people of the United States, especially the poorest and most vulnerable, at the forefront. Let's prioritize that for once.
Well, Cornel, I'm curious, do you think Democrats were displaying courage during that shutdown fight, or was it something else?
No, I don't think that Democrats or Republicans were, because courage requires that you acknowledge that truth and justice is something bigger than your party. If you have a team mentality and think that your team could do no wrong and the other team could do no right, then you have not only polarization, but you have a level of juvenile conformity. Courage shatters conformity. Increasing hatred and contempt of one another. Where's Lincoln? Where's Barbara Jordan? Where's Harold Washington? Where are all the politicians who historically were willing to be critical of not just both parties, but critical of anybody, of churches, of mosques, of synagogues, of universities, in the name of something bigger than all of them? And what's bigger? Truth and justice. And as a follower of Jesus of Nazareth, I tell you, I am, and Brother Robbie is too, an extremist of love. An extremist for justice, which means what? We're willing to be marginalized in the name of something that we know is bigger than us.
Robert, you recently left, talk about courage, you recently left the board of a think tank. This is what Politico, my home here, wrote about it. Another member of the Conservative Heritage Foundation has resigned following a video posted by the organization's president defending Tucker Carlson's interview with Holocaust denier Nick Fuentes. Robert George said he can no longer remain part of the foundation without a full retraction. Can you speak a little bit about that decision?
Well, sometimes one finds oneself in a situation where it's impossible to go along with something that one's friends and colleagues and comrades are proposing or promoting or going along with. And I found myself in that position recently. serving on the Heritage Foundation board. I've been on the board since 2019. I think you're well aware of the circumstances that created a controversy surrounding the Heritage Foundation. Of course, as a member of the board, it was my responsibility to work with my board colleagues toward rectifying a bad mistake that had been made at the leadership level at the foundation by a good man.
Just remind viewers briefly who might not be as familiar who Nick Fuentes is and why this was so problematic in your view.
Nick Fuentes is a white supremacist who is a sympathizer with figures like Hitler and Stalin. I probably needn't say anymore. Your viewers, if they're not familiar with this person, will know on the basis of that description what they're dealing with here. Apparently has a very large following, especially among disaffected young men, and that's very worrying that a person with sympathies for figures like Stalin and Hitler would have a big following, and especially among disaffected young men. We've seen in history what that leads to sometimes. And another public commentator did a public interview, a rather softball interview with Mr. Fuentes. The leader of the Heritage Foundation defended the interview and made some allegations against the critics of the interview. I thought that was a terrible mistake. It was, from my point of view, it was necessary to repudiate the statement. When the statement was not repudiated, I felt that I had no choice. I, with the greatest regret and sadness, had to resign from the board of the foundation's board. Now, sometimes you find yourself in that situation, and when you find yourself in that situation, you have to do what your conscience requires. Now, some of my colleagues on the board, their consciences took them to a different place, and I respect that. I'm not holding them up to criticism, much less ridicule. Everybody was in a tough situation. Everybody had to decide for himself or herself what the right thing to do was. And those good people took a different path than the one I took. But I had to follow I can't follow somebody else's conscience. I have to follow my conscience.
What's the response then to your decision?
Well, I think it's fair to say that it has been mixed. Certainly people who are sympathetic to Mr. Fuentes, and many of them are online on X, formerly Twitter, or on other social media accounts, have been extremely and aggressively hostile toward me. They called me some names that I had to look up. I wasn't familiar with those names. On the other hand, many good people, and again, across the ideological spectrum, people like myself on the more conservative side, people on the more liberal side have reached out to me to thank me or congratulate me for my courage. I was very gratified and grateful to William Galston, the great political theorist at Brookings Institution, former Clinton administration official, certainly on the more liberal side than I am, who did a piece praising me in the Wall Street Journal. Of course, I've had the absolutely unwavering support of Brother Cornell, but also lots of people on the conservative side who abominate figures like Fuentes, who agree with me that there is absolutely no place in the conservative movement for white supremacists, anti-Semites, eugenicists, or bigots of any kind. That's my position. And a lot of people on the conservative side share that perspective, and I've been very grateful for their encouragement and their support.
Cornell, what do you think of how your friend handled this?
No, I think he's been courageous. I think he's been magnificent. But I want to make it clear that I would have a love for Brother Robbie if he stayed on the board. It's just not a question of one action or particular actions, but you're talking about a larger sense of who he is as a person of integrity and character. So that, again, I could have a variety of disagreements, staying on the board, off the board. We struggle over issues of markets and what have you. But there's a love that cuts deeper than that, and Robbie knows that, and I'm unashamed of that. And that's true not just for him, but that's true for people across the board as well. And so I'm just glad to be the brother's brother. You know what I mean?
Well, Cornell, I do want to ask before I let you go. You ran for president. You know what that's like, throwing your hat in the ring. And we are coming up on midterms, and of course, people are already thinking about 2028. For those considering making the move and declaring a run, what is your advice about how to do that in this moment?
Well, I mean, I ran because I want to keep alive the legacy of Martin King. I want the elimination of poverty. I want to make sure that there's democratic accountability for all the monopolies in our economy. I want to make sure we don't have 70% of Americans living paycheck to paycheck. I want to make sure that the dignity and sanctity given to each person being made in the image of an almighty and loving God can be affirmed in a political way, in an economic way, as well as a moral way and a spiritual way. And people say, Brother West, that has a chance of a snowball in hell. I said, maybe so, but I'm going down swinging and fighting for it.
Robert, what about you? What do you want to see out of candidates, whether it's in the midterms or in the presidential, on the Republican side?
I want to see integrity. I want to see integrity. I want to see people standing up against this effort by extremist figures, by like anti-Semites and white supremacists and other bigots. I want to see politicians standing up to them and saying, no, you have no place here. And then I want the focus really to be on the common good of the country. And the best way to serve the common good of the country is to just ask with respect to any question. Begin the conversation, begin the deliberation by asking, what is and what isn't consistent with our fundamental principles, the principles of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. We're about to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the Declaration next year. Let's actually take the Declaration seriously. Let's begin any deliberation on a question with, is it consistent with, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they're endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now, you can't answer every question simply by adverting to that statement from the Declaration, that principle from the Declaration. And we're going to have reasonable disagreements about what the implications of that principle are on many, many issues. But it's the place to begin, and we'll have a much more productive engagement of our differences on how to interpret it if we agree that we're going to begin from that principle.
We are all out of time. I could do this with you all day. What a privilege it has been to have you both on the program. I hope you have a beautiful holiday season with all those you love and who love you. Thank you so much.
Same to you.
Thank you, my dear sister. Thank you. Have a good one.
Have a good one.
Let's turn now to this week's C-SPAN Flashback, where we dig deep into the video archives to show you a moment in political history that reminds us of today. Let's take you back to November 2012. Vice President Joe Biden visited a brand new Costco in Washington, D.C. to knock out some holiday shopping and push for middle-class tax cuts. Take a listen.
All the people you meet in here today, and you...
How do you stop it? That was what I was concerned about, stopping it. So, how it works. It's really about it's just, it's a shame we're living in a world. You don't Your Best Life Defined joined the room. Well, welcome, Best Life Defined. And there's Instagram and there's Facebook. And I think I started with Facebook long ago because just what does that look like? Because it doesn't look like anything to me because so many people just choose not to show up. It's a joke. Girl, Mm. It says seasonable weekend in Vegas, November the 29th. First weather alert. Skies will be mostly clear, partially cloudy throughout the weekend as an area of low pressure moves into Four Corners regions this weekend, and to help cooler temperatures down to the seasonal norms, mid to low 60s in southern Nevada this weekend, and that's it. So it's just going to be a little chilly. Not a lot chilly, just a little chilly. And we did have the heater turned on. Oh, there's another news alert. Some residents complain of an unreliable heat in New York City. I guess because, you know, the temperature is going to be dropping around the freezing across New York. And guess what? They don't have no heat. And so who knows? Heat issues with tenants. Well, they have places I saw where people are living and living under just, so many blankets because they don't have heat there. Oh, yeah, it's just crazy. But guess what? The boiler and the heat were working in the building and said assisted with the apartment issues. I mean, come on now. Who makes a ginger? Roger's, oh, gross. Foods like ginger and avocado and wheat bread. I don't know. It's crazy. Tiger Woods makes headlines again. What'd he do? He looked like he's sad. 50 million island mansion. See inside. In 2010, after the divorce, because he married that white woman, Tiger Woods completed his $50 million mansion with golf course, and now his girlfriend Erica says he's enjoying the ultimate golfer getaway, fueling his remarkable comeback. Let's take a look in the mansion. And then it has some pictures that you can't see because this is a fucked up phone. But let's take a virtual tour through Tiger Woods' luxurious villa in Florida. Oh, he's in Florida where it's going to be flooding over there. You know what I'm saying? And then it goes down to describing what it's like to live in his house. And he's got a girlfriend. He ain't getting no more wives, I don't believe, because it makes a difference. Oh, well, it is what it is. Tiger Woods. That was not even a good story, but it is what it is. So, anything else happening? I don't see anything else. What's he saying? Ooh, a man pulls a gun on a barber in front of his kids after an argument about his hairline. You're lucky I don't want to go back to prison, he said. He said, you're lucky I don't want to go back to prison. Yeah. He mad and he should have just shaved him bald. Crazy. He really arguing that. Oh, I don't think so. Oh, wow, seriously. That was crazy.
This. I want to make this fucking video real quick. I always get comments like, Philly don't claim you, you not from Philly. I don't give two fucks to be from fucking Philly. And the city don't claim you the fuck either. This the city of love and fucking hate. The city of haters, the city of dick eaters. I know I get people saying, Philly made you, Philly made you, Philly made you. Made what, bitch? I ain't the fuck famous. Y'all keep saying I'm famous, bitch. I'm just a little known. Bitch, I made myself, I posted myself on these fucking platforms. And people started just fucking with my personality. But bitch, I'm definitely known all over, not just fucking Philly. Philly raised me, Philly taught me. Learned a lot of shit from here. Yes, I was in the shit class. Yes, I was in the slow class. But bitch, I got survival skills, bitch. I can take anywhere when I fucking go anywhere. There's some beautiful people here. Not everybody's bad. But for the meat rider bitches, fuck y'all. The meat rider niggas, fuck y'all. Y'all make me hate being from here, dick eating assholes. Fuck you, bitch. I wanna make this fucking video real quick. I always get comments like, tell everyone we meet.
Ladies and gentlemen. Hi, I'm Middleton, your Suburban Queen. Can we talk Beyond the Gates, episode number 178? So, baby, can't don't.
Hang all the mistletoe. When you're on your way up, you know what time it is. I see it, so I know you see it. We just crossed $14 million raised for Fanbase on Start Engine. We're almost there. We're just $3 million away from our $17 million goal to close this round on December 17th. What does that mean for you? That means right now, comment invest, and I will send you a link to invest in Fanbase. Why? Well, we just announced that we're distributing microdramas on Fanbase in 2026. We just announced our partnership and collaboration with Podstock to pay users to have their content trained on AI. We just launched our new algorithm, which is training right now and will be scaling up all the way to the top of the new year to make Fanbase a more engaging place. So let me tell you this. If you believe that microdramas are going to be a massive, massive thing in 2026 and you want to own part of the platform that distributes them, comment invest. If you believe that through Black Friday and Cyber Monday that you're not shopping with any of these big retailers and you want to own something and own equity in a company rather than just buy from these corporations that don't respect you, comment invest. If you believe in what we've been doing at Fanbase, that the users that have equity in the platforms that they use, comment invest. If you're tired of the oligarchs being rich, billionaires that control what you see on your social media platform, and you want to build up a place where diversity, equity, and inclusion matter, where free speech matters, where there's no censorship, no shadow banning, comment invest. Remember, just 6,000 people investing $500 closes this round. So between Black Friday and Cyber Monday, I'm asking 6,000 people to invest for their kids, to invest for themselves, to invest for their families, to invest for their future. Comment invest, and I will send you a link to invest in Fanbase right now. Shout out to all the new investors, and shout out to those of you who will be joining us very, very soon and helping us close this round. Welcome to Fanbase. You know what time it is. I see it, so I know you.
Did y'all hear it? Welcome to Fanbase. Welcome to Fanbase. They were talking about. I know I pushed the button. I pushed the button. Yep. I'm not going to do that one. Let me go here.
My city on fire. My city on fire. I'm sorry I'll fight ya. I'm just trying to be better. Too cold for a sweater. Nah, there's no forever. We on the search for better. We on the search for better. We on the search for better. My city on fire. I'm sorry I fight ya. I'm just trying to be better. Too cold for a sweater. Lord, there's no forever. We on the search for better. We on the search for better. For better. I think they mad that I said something. Ugly nigga for ransom. But my brother's alright. I'm trying to be a provider. Where I'm from is alright. Safer to keep silent. It's hard for me to choose you. Scare my life would abuse you. My city on fire. I'm sorry I fight ya. I'm just trying to be better. Too cold for a sweater. Lord, there's no forever. We on the search for better. We on the search for better. For better. And I can't wait to tell my mama that I made it. Man, I'm tired of the stressing and I'm tired of this fake shit. I see the vision, say there ain't no being lazy. Gotta wake up early morning, yeah, the money never waiting. My mama showed them different when you worry about your bitches. Stack your dreams, travel far, forever she missions. I pray my love a better way in 7 days. Cause the people in my city really steady, acting shady. R.I.P. dope boy, ain't get to make it through. Man, I'm truly scarred, why it had to be you. Do it on your own, now you have to lose your life. We just wanna make it out, see if that you catch a fire. I'm sorry I fight ya. I'm just trying to be better. Too cold for a sweater. Lord, there's no forever. We on the search for better. We on the search for better. For better. Keep it real, I don't know who to trust. They love you when you down, but they hate you when you up. Now you my brother, but you stealing from me blood. I just peep shit, now I gotta like a trust. Shit been welling on me, though for real. Ever since my brother died, mama said I need to chill. Baby, take your time, I promise you gotta heal. I just push her to the side, but I still feel it still. I've been hurting, broke past, got me spurging. Couple masks, I've been purging. Glizzy cocked back, got my mind set on murder. Got my mind set on murder. My city on fire. I'm sorry I fight ya. I'm just trying to be better. Too cold for a sweater. Lord, there's no forever. We on the search for better. We on the search for better. For better.
I'll fix it. Okay. Sorry, I went away for a second. No, but I forgot something, so I can.
Your son works this morning.
Huh? I can't even talk about that.
What?
The dysfunction. Let me see.
Function junction.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Okay, we're just gonna go to the long one because this is good.
If the child says, I need some help with this,
We just gonna keep on playing this one.
in your doggone tribe, and usually it's another kid can help with this. Well, I mean, and that's how it was for my son. That's how it was. When my son needed additional help, I had to fight so other children could share their notes with him so that he could be included in the...
Any questions that you may have?
Oh, you need some material out of your house.
Yeah.
You need some material. Everybody needs to get a cleaning in their the heater goes on. Everybody needs to get that cleaning under their vents.
I'm trying to understand. Well, come on. There we go. All right. Well, where am I at? I have to play one of these.
To homies. Any questions that you may have?
Yeah.
Regarding the program.
That was just recording one day. Can't hear anything though. I should change it to the other.
Oh, it's ringing. That's great.
Oh, that's good.
Members' questions on this item?
Hi, Mom. I'm sitting out here with Darlene.
Are you coming home?
What? Oh, it's freezing there. No, it's here in San
Questions
Diego.
from any other members?
It's
But
nice here. It's nice outside. It's nice
as
outside.
I look over the budget account,
Jeff already went to work.
your pending
I just
EV
hit the
balance
point. I
would
just hit
be
the point.
right around
And they're wondering where
$24,000,
you're at. They think I thought I killed
which
you.
is a little scary.
Oh, they did. They said, did you bury your
Could you tell the committee or share with us what are your plans to help this account stay solvent? What changes would be made? What changes do you
Are you
think
coming
would be
home?
made? And if not, then we
Tell
continue
him to
with this
ignore me.
account.
Yeah. So how are you doing?
Sure, thank you for the question. Very good question. And the account is currently owned
By
by the legislature. We simply are administrators for the monitoring of this. The district courts handle much of the program.
Senator Kaida. So the
No,
shortfall,
you have my dog.
what I would say is
We peaked back in 2018 at just over 5,000. This year, we anticipate notices of default probably to be right around 3,000. And that's up just a little bit from last year. But it's going to be considerably difficult to continue based on the current notice of default funding that is going to be coming our way. So happy to answer any other questions. But other than notices of default, there's no other way to continue to potentially fund this.
I was depressed all day long until Bobby said I could plate.
the request for the allocation of $108,235 will assist this budget, but as stated, even with that funding, by the end of it, we're looking at only $24,000. So at some point, we as a legislative body have to make a decision of how we move forward with this account. So keep that in the back of your heads and see if that's something we need to continue with, and if so, how we do that. But at this time, I will take a motion on item I for the appropriation. I have a first from Assemblywoman Backus, a second from Senator Don Barrow. Is there any discussion on the motion?
No, he's wagging his tail.
Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Look at Mama.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And we'll come up with something.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mama. Say hi, baby. Look at, he's like, well, if I did, I can FaceTime you. Yeah.
No, Aaron's here. I said Aaron's here.
I'm in your chair. Yeah.
No, don't rush. He's gonna get his naked ass out here. I said, don't rush. No, don't rush. Does the camera come up when you're talking to her?
Members, item K on your agenda was withdrawn. J on your agenda was withdrawn. So we'll move on to item K, which is informational only from the Department of Business and Industry.
Let me,
Good morning again.
Good morning again, Chair Monroe Moreno, Vice Chair Dundero Luke, Steve Acroft, Administrator of the Nevada Housing Division, for the record, to talk here about the Home Means Nevada initiative, a little different than the previous Home Means Nevada Inc. That was on the previous agenda item. The Home Means Nevada initiative, as you hopefully are all aware, is the $500 million initiative to advance affordable housing within the state of Nevada. You should have received a report. That report gets filed quite a while ago, so I want to give you some status of where we're at. Grant and loan agreements have been provided to the bulk of the awardees. Most of those are undergoing review by those awardees at this time. Some of them are coming to fruition. I'll touch on that in a moment. I also want to acknowledge that the Department of Business and Industry provided the division over $220 million in private activity bond cap authority to help support these projects. And so that has now entered into the mix to make sure that we can get these projects leveraged with those funds. And ultimately, we view it as, with that additional funding, the ability to potentially roll down our waterfall of applicants that were not initially awarded. And we hope to, just through that process, capture 5 more potential awardees and the creation of about 600 units of affordable housing. We have one project that's closed, and I know it's been a topic of the month to talk about obligations and expenditures of ARPA funds through this body. So by having that one project close, it really allowed us to develop the processes with GFO on the reimbursement schedule, with the agreements that we need to make with the developers, the investment community, or investors in the particular project, to ensure that the division and the funding is spent correctly, and all that has occurred. So that's really, really a good story to tell, because as we start to award more projects and close more projects, we kind of have a template to go through. And through that process, which that particular development closed in January, in 2 months, they've already drawn down roughly $14 million. So really, from an obligation and expenditure perspective, once we get those agreements done, the finance is closed, the money moves pretty quick in most of these. So I wanted to make the committee aware of that. We anticipate the closure of 2 or 3 more projects in the next month. So you'll start to see more of that money move through. And then in our home ownership program, we currently have 67 reservations out of an anticipated 300 over the life of the program. So that program is actually moving along pretty well also. And with that brief overview, be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you.
Well, Bakersfield, the
You had
opposite
mentioned
way.
you were
It's
going
not
to
coming
release
out.
the waterfall of applicants who weren't
Yeah, she'll be stuck
able
there for
to
2 months.
utilize
She'll be
for
stuck there
housing
for 2
applicants
months.
to
You
use
just
something
need to get back to
to have on that list.
Vegas. Vegas. Vegas.
I don't have the list in front of me. I can get you that information. I can sort of caveat it this way. I believe we had over 150 different applicants.
Her hair is fucked up.
We awarded 53.
She's got a big old bang.
We're never going to get to
It's
all
going the wrong
150,
way.
and quite honestly,
It's like a
all
colic.
150
Oh
are
my God,
not necessarily worthy of funding.
Okay.
But
Yeah, look at the dog.
we do
It's
anticipate
like a mohawk.
rolling
She
through.
got a
We
mohawk.
probably eyeballed and kind of are looking at about 10 to 15 different projects depending on how this comes through. And we know there's going to be some challenges potentially with the obligation of funds and some of the organization meeting those obligations, or staying within the realm of the rules. We're very cognizant of that, and we're very cognizant of the obligation dates. That's really where we're focused on now, to give these potential, to give the awardees the ability to come to the agreements and get through them. But we will have to evaluate, and we're probably
Ask her when she's coming home.
3-4 months out
Right.
from kind of saying, okay, we need now
Did you tell her about Justin?
for you to finalize the agreements, so we don't run into issues with the obligation date.
Thank you. Councilwoman Haneke and then Senator Neal.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Nice to see both of you. Administrator, nice to see you. Just a quick question. I know that there was some of the funds that were set aside also for homeownership, and there's been about 26 families who've received them. Can you walk through a little bit about what the guidelines are for qualifying for the down payment assistance program through HMNI, and how much did each one of those families receive? Is there a set limit that they receive? And since there is a little bit of concern about obligating these funds by the date, is it easy to transfer if there is fallout from some of the projects? Is it easy to transfer that money into home ownership so that we can easily give it away and not have to return it?
Thank you for the question, Assemblywoman Haneke. We actually have 67 reservations done through that system. That's been the update since the report that was provided to you. And so we are on target for 300 potential reservations through that program. The program is at $15,000, maxes out at $15,000. You have to be, the eligible recipient has to be under 300% of federal poverty level. And I don't have that information specifically with me, but those are the program parameters. To answer the second part of your question, these are just, as I mentioned, with the waterfalling and the new development process. These are things that we have to look at moving forward. As to the difficulty of moving those funds, I would have to check with our budgetary folks and all that sort of stuff to make sure that we can do that. From our standpoint, it should be a very fluid situation where if we identify increased need in that area, we should be able to provide additional funding from some other place.
I think I heard you correctly. You said in order to qualify, you have to be under 300% of federal poverty level. I mean, for a household of one, if Google is correct, I mean, that's $40,000. I can't see someone being eligible to purchase a home at $40,000. How did you guys come up with a 300% federal poverty level, or was that set by Treasury? Because that seems awfully low.
Steve Akroth, for the record, those are Treasury SLFRF eligibility rules.
No, that
Thank you.
No, I got lactulose from
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I had a question, and it's my understanding the responses just came in last night on the North Las Vegas dollars, but I have a question on the Buena Vista Springs response. I just looked at it. on the 3.84 acre parcel and the 1.25 acres that was undeveloped on the land north of the building. When was that property acquired?
Steve Acroft, for the record, let me sort of clear up, because there's 4 things that are happening with that Buena Vista Springs. Start on the east side of Cary Avenue. I'm sorry, on the west end of Cary Avenue. That is Buena Vista Springs 2. That is not part of this particular proposal. That's owned by somebody else. They're doing whatever it is they do. Then there's a large swath of land that is currently owned, if I'm not mistaken, by the city of North Las Vegas. And that vacant land, we will be having discussions, and Nevada Hand has had discussions about potential development on that. Moving now to the north on MLK Boulevard, you have the existing building, and then you have another small vacant parcel just to the north of that. That small vacant parcel, that's where the new development, 60 units, will go. The existing facility will be rehabbed, and so both of those projects, the development of 60 units to the north, and I can't remember the exact number that are in the current building, will be completed through the use of Home Means Nevada dollars and community housing funds provided by Clark County. Does that help?
No, it doesn't. But I have a follow-up. So the building that is north
That's a better picture than I saw her over there.
For the 60 units. It's my understanding that in 2020 that was owned by a separate investor. So was the 4.7 million, what portion of the 4.7 million is being used to purchase the vacant land to the north?
No, like it's just diet.
Steve Across, for the record, I don't know that I can specifically speak to just the land purchase, because they may actually own the land, Nevada Hand own the land currently. I can tell you that the entirety of the 4.7 million is to help construct that particular property to the north and rehab the property to the south. Am I getting closer?
You're getting closer, but because what I'm trying to find out is so it's my understanding prior to 2020, that land that's north of Buena Vista 2, which is the land with the wrought iron gate, was owned by North Las Vegas, and then they sold it during COVID for $3 million. And I'm trying to find out, was it then resold to Nevada Hand, and for what amount?
Well, I can't see. I can just see it.
Steve Acroft, for the record, I'm just going to have to get back to you and provide you more clarity.
Yeah.
And be more than happy to bring Nevada Hand in on the call if that's the desirable outcome.
I just want to understand when you come along.
I'm just trying to figure out how something was sold twice, and then if it was purchased with
I got
state money after it was sold to a private investor when there originally was
I get it on the
county. Well,
early.
there was public money involved in the initial transfer of that land to begin with. So I'm trying to find out what's happening in the transaction.
Yeah, I did.
But I have a follow-up, Madam Chair.
Well, I only got $30 more, so it doesn't really matter.
So on the 73 acres that has been acquired, or is going to be acquired by North Las Vegas, which is the Texas Station casino land.
Everybody's supposed to get the extra $2.
It's my understanding that the $10 million in state dollars will be a part of an $80 million acquisition cost. Is that correct?
Steve Acroft, for the record, that is correct.
Look, girl,
so the $10 million that they are acquiring
me to get
Well,
home.
let me change that question. Where's the 80 million coming from? Do you know?
I mean, the Big Beautiful Bill did.
Steve Across, for the record, what they've identified is some of their own funding, and I'm looking at what I've provided to that. They've earmarked their own corporate recovery dollars, HUD, and City of North Las Vegas general fund dollars.
So they're going to use their own money to go and buy this land. So they're going to take $10 million from the state, and $80 million is roughly their own ARPA, their own general fund. And I'm sure you know why I'm asking this, right? Because of the Windsor Park issue. And so you're telling me that they have come up with roughly $80 million of their own right around the block. And
you just need to just.
I haven't changed my residence.
Wow.
That's the issue.
This is super helpful. If you have line items that break out this $80 million, that would be very helpful to me to understand, like, this particular entity that is claiming that they don't have any money to do work of housing or relocation, and the fact that $80 million just happened to fall out of the sky for a freaking Texas station. So if you would let me know what the line item is, I'd super appreciate it. Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Just
Understand
a quick comment, Steve Across, for the record. My understanding, we may not have that yet, Senator Neal. City of North Las Vegas had identified to us that they were going to basically develop a plan for this, and that $10 million is part of the $80 million in the entire acquisition costs. So they are supposed to be developing a plan that will be provided to the division. We have not seen that yet, but I will go back to City of North Las Vegas to find out the status.
Thank you for that. And I don't think because this is not an action item, so we have no ability to place any holds or anything. But
listen.
You guys know that I'm trying to find a remedy for a community that has been in a state of suspension for 30 years, and I'm only trying to deal with 90 residents.
California has benefits that you can't collect.
It is just disheartening to me that the city that represents these individuals would find $80 million to do something on vacant land and not even consider those 90 residents.
Yeah, you're claiming homelessness when you're at
poverty,
because
you have a home.
with lead poisoning, and every other potential hazard that is on those properties, and that they have no interest.
No. You're
and trying to use any of their money to help these families.
When you start qualifying, you're changing your residency.
Not you, housing division, that this city is the level of disrespect has just reached an ultimate level for me, and I appreciate this information greatly. That if I had some magic sword.
No, it's a pirate. Show it to us.
I'm going to close this comment out. All right. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes. Our Métis.
Aye, Métis. Aye.
We will all say a prayer for you. I think we need to say a bigger prayer for the city of North Las Vegas.
Captain Jack.
I'm in John. Yeah, Jack.
Captain Jack.
Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, that's right.
Not any votes we need to take. This is informational only, but I think many of the members of this committee share the frustration of the senator. So a little more digging into the numbers, how they got there.
That's a hookah.
And
I'm not darling.
Would be
I'm on
helpful
the patio.
Were you looking for?
So seeing other questions or comments, thank you so much for the presentation.
Bowling ball. No, where's Max at? Where's Max?
So members, that brings us up to the last item on our agenda, because we have nothing else from L, and that is public comment. If you've been watching us and would like to call in for public comment,
Be careful.
The number is
She's not listening.
669-900-6833.
Yeah, he's got her convinced because whatever he
And the
keeps
meeting
doing,
ID
he can
is
do. It's not caught up with her ass.
858-393-1306 and press pound. It doesn't appear that we have anyone here in Carson City to make public comment, and I don't see anyone in Las Vegas. BPS, do we have anyone online that would like to make public comment?
Come on now. I want to hear.
The public line is open and working. There are no callers at this time.
Who knew the meeting was going to happen?
Thank you. And members, with that,
Hey.
we have gotten through our IFC a lot quicker than I thought we would. It's nice to be back, and this amendment is adjourned.
She was cool though. Eventually she cooled off fast. Oh, like, come on, girl. You do all this asking for me to meet
but I'll be quick. I know we're behind. Has this ever been done before?
Over there at, what you call it?
Through the chair to you, Assemblywoman. Not in Nevada. Sorry, Marco Vallata for the record. Not in Nevada. We have the ability to do redevelopment. We have the ability to do tax increment financing, but not this specific type of zone like has been done in Utah or in Texas.
Okay, I know you showed those other states, so thank you. Let's see. One of the things that I just want to clarify is that we spoke a lot about the affordable housing, the need for affordable housing, and we certainly went up here. We can all understand that. But because I don't live in Las Vegas, can you help me a little bit with the connection between this particular area where the zones would be versus those where you have a little bit, more of the other areas in the affordable housing connection? Just help me see that connection a little bit more clearly, if you would.
Mm-hmm. Again, through the chair to you, Marco Vallata for the record. So this allows for essentially what could be done in a downtown area or redevelopment agency outside of that, along a major corridor. And in Reno's case, I mean, that could be along Virginia Street, 4th Street or Prater Way, anywhere where there is a major hub where there could be that potential for affordable housing or market rate housing for that matter. And that's why we've included the definitions of affordable housing in there, whatever rate that is through the Department of Housing and Urban Development.
Mm-hmm. If I may, for clarity, Madam Chair, and this would be my
yes, please go ahead.
So let me say what I think you're saying. Okay, is that so? You're looking at an area that's a corridor, it's a high traffic area, and so on, and to be able to enhance the transportation to that area will allow for what? For affordable housing.
Again, Marco Vallata for the record, it would allow for it to be developed. You could actually get those types of projects built on the parcels that are surrounding that transportation project. Actually get them physically built in units and stuff.
And it would be affordable housing because
if the local government chooses to go that route to actually define affordable housing, whether that's 60% of area median income, they could search. It allows the local government to make that determination, or just housing in general at market rate for sale.
And that's what you're looking to do in this case. Thank you for your indulgence, Madam Chair. Thank you so much.
I said,
thank you, Assemblywoman Carter.
If you wanted to do some quick weed, that would be every 2 weeks.
We discussed this a little bit yesterday, but I'm trying to understand. We've already got a crisis in the property tax revenue because of the tax cap having, especially on the east side of Las Vegas, some of the areas you talked about, when we have houses that sold for $500,000-$600,000 that are only paying property tax on $150,000 and can only raise at 3%. So it's already a chronic problem, nearing crisis proportions on the reduced property tax revenue. How does this work with diverting some of that existing property tax revenue that's already way under what it should be?
Yeah, how you do that shit? Yes, let's understand.
Ryan, do you want to take that question?
You don't want to talk about it. Somebody else take the question. Take the question.
Sure, thanks, Randy. Madam Chair, through you. I think so. One good thing about this bill is that it maintains the baseline. So if there were ever any property tax reform approved through the legislature, it would reflect the baseline that's already existing for all the taxes.
You're not going to get enough people to vote for
this
it.
bill.
Again,
Through the exemption, through certain of the taxes that Randy mentioned that are exempt, go through those. But any further reform would also be reflected in this. And again, it kind of just repurposes some of that increment back into affordable housing because money flows. That's what it does. So the best I can answer the question is it doesn't affect the baseline. If those properties are assessed today, it's going to reflect what they get from today.
Shit, it's real.
Thank you. Assemblyman De Silva.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for your presentation. I just had a couple quick questions. One, I know that these transportation and housing reinvestment zones, there's been a lot of talk about this, not just here in Las Vegas, of course, but across the country. I think recently I watched something on the PBS NewsHour that said that this is how the 21st century urban planning should really rotate really around these notions of creating affordable housing around transportation hubs. And I also think it's very important to realize here that there's a direct equation between the creation of mass transit in urban areas and an abatement of poverty, especially in areas like East Las Vegas, which I know from the presentation you'll be looking at bringing some of these reinvestment dollars to. So my question is one, I think you did answer it. It was an issue pertaining to the education funding. I know that education funding is tied to property taxes, and I did have some concerns there. If you could just maybe go a little bit deeper into that. And then number two, is this something that's going to exist in perpetuity, or is there some sort of a sunsetting that you envision here, so we can repurpose those fundings down the line for other purposes if we have met the goals that are looking to achieve through this project? Thank you.
Marco Blanc for the record to Chair Yu. So with respect to your second question, the sunsetting, it's 30 years, and that's the cap on it. It's listed in the bill. So that would be the life of one of these zones.
30 years. That's right.
I'm not going to
follow up on that.
On page 5 of the amendment, in section 5, subparagraph A, number 1. That's where you see the exemption there in green. That's where the language that would exempt or protect, or sometimes you call hold harmless, the public education funding portion of the property.
They're not going to hold harmless. Nothing. Hold harmless is gone. There's no waivers for Nevada. I'm sorry. That's right. There's no way. Let's just understand who gave them the hold harmless. I want to know.
Someone want to read the additional questions?
They haven't been given any waivers yet.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. I have a couple of questions, if that's okay.
Yeah, do have questions.
I wanted to know, where's the money currently going? Where's this tax? What are you currently doing with that?
They're holding it. They're not spending it.
Randy, again, Ryan Smith, Madam Chair, through you. Right now, the tax is just collected by the county and distributed to the proper taxing agencies that would normally get the tax. So it goes to the municipalities, it goes to schools. Again, just through the traditional.
That's right. That's that. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars they're holding in their carryover.
Like actual parcels of land you're looking at to redevelop. Yeah. I know you have some listed, like the Maryland Corridor, UNR, UNLV, Nevada State campuses. How many actual parcels are we looking at to redevelop?
So, Madam Chair, Marco Blanc for the record, for you to Assemblywoman. Right now, I mean, there's that's up to each individual municipality.
Yeah,
so in the city's case,
what we're talking about.
When you determine that through ordinance, it could be one, it could be a grouping of several around an intersection that could be a number along a corridor. It depends on every single case, and it would ultimately be up to the city council's discretion as to how many and where they would actually go.
Right.
Thank you.
Right. That one right there.
So, in terms of the Maryland Parkway corridor, very familiar, it used to be my district, neighboring my district, right? You have many strip malls that may seem abandoned and or empty, but you also have tenants or businesses that are there, right? And so, what happens to those folks that are currently there, and where will they go? And then, do they get to come back? Like, what happens to those businesses?
Again, Mark Avallata, through the chair to you, we would have to look at every single zone in each individual case, and certainly this would be one where we wouldn't want to be purposefully displacing things that are already in existence. This would be one where a redevelopment opportunity is, appropriate. Like there's an abandoned strip mall, there aren't tenants there, there are vacancies, or it could be completely repurposed in the case of Desert Pines. That's often what really makes these projects attractive, is that there's just not something that's really working there now. There's something that's actually wrong, and we wouldn't purposefully go in and take something that's actually working and disrupt it.
Thank you. I guess, that is one of my concerns is on the outside, it may not look like anything is going on and happening, but I can think of right now on Maryland Parkway, right across from Boulevard Mall, right? There's an empty strip mall, but within that strip mall, there's a laundromat. And people around those communities use and need to use that laundromat. And I'm just thinking, like, in this situation, you would completely demolish.
The child says, I need some help with this. Somebody in your doggone tribe. You're just another kid.
It just
can help with this.
Well, I mean, and that's how it was for my son. That's how it was when my son needed additional help. I had to fight so other children could share their notes with him, so that he could be included in the conversation. Because we have a very cautious.
There was a whole lot of fighting done there, and there's a whole lot that you learn from that fight. Why not? Let's start looking at it from this. You can't fight with the NAACP, who are, and I just figure they're part of Gestapo. That's just how I feel.
But they had to create that organization that has an intended purpose, but understanding that the intended purpose has been confiscated right now. And it is more into what the glam shot of America is, about entertainment and entertaining, and it's really not about the mission of the NAACP and what they used to stand for. You have to build.
Well, I can't even talk about today's NAACP. I mean, I'm not trying to generalize the whole organization across the world.
I have to generalize from what I've seen here, though. And knowing that the national came in to do a training here, and only one other person showed up. It was myself and then the chair. She didn't invite nobody else. It was all about her. And that they've had so many. If you go to the NAACP's website here and you look at the page, you think that they were functional. You wouldn't think that they have a 259% suspension expulsion rate. And then you could go look at the schools and go to the board meetings online. You don't have to go physically anywhere. Everything that you really want to know about what's happening is online. So, that's the change in the narrative. The narrative changed, and we have access to information that we didn't have before.
And that means what to somebody who's interested in it?
Well, that means that, the conversation that we have to have amongst ourselves is totally going to be empowering, by empowering others to know the journey that we've been on and looking at this whole thing as, what do you want to say it? It's different when you're really talking about the issues and the problems in the community and how things may change and what we need to look at and the outcomes and measuring the maintenance and effort where the money is going to. Because that's where we should be. We should be able to have a conversation about what's working over here and what's not working over here. And it doesn't have to be a white or black thing, but what it has to be is what's benefiting all children. And we, as Americans, can't focus on the separation, but we really have to understand that the separation needs to bring attention to the journey of blacks in America. So it's not about...
Well, I mean, no matter how you look at it, you know, oppression requires constant consistency. Oppression requires that. It's no way to get around it. So every time you ask for something or every time you reach at something, they just move it farther away. But self-reliance is a critical component of life. And you cannot you're not self-reliant if you can't access what makes you self-reliant. It's just not there. If there are no libraries, if they put the Smithsonian in your community and the children just really walk by, well, they see it. I mean, they just walk by. They don't have a library card. They used to give them out in the school, but they don't have a library card. They have no use for the library. I mean, we're talking about something that shifted in the late 70s when you know, crack and cocaine, and I mean, we don't even grow that here. How did it get here? So, you know,
definitely, they were talking about it this morning on C-SPAN about the number of opiates, the opiate trade.
Well, they are, and we're pursuing them right along. I mean, and then where do they start to peddle that poison? In the low-income neighborhoods, because who are the greatest consumers in America?
Drugs?
Black people. We buy anything and everything. You know, we buy everything but a house. They'll sell us everything. We can live.
Even when they sell us the houses, they figure out how to get the money back
in the projects and drive a doggone Cadillac. New,
yeah.
You know, we got TV screens that are 70 inches across or whatever, big as a wall, but we got no books. Our books, we may have 3 books in the house, and they're full of text.
Not even the books.
Even change us too. We definitely got to change us because our children are not just, hey, I'm talking. You better shut up. Our children are not engaged with. Parent involvement.
Let me ask you this question.
At home.
Why should our children? But why should our children be engaged in the most oppressive system that has been established?
Well, you know what? Here's the thing, and I understand the finance of education very well. Pick a day. Pick a day. Organize around a day. Keep them home one day. One day.
Yeah, but it's going to require the whole community to.
Well, it's going to. The only thing it really requires is a significant number of the community, and the significant number of people are really in those what I call them black holes, where you've got nothing. But where the scene hasn't changed in 50 years. The same store been there, the same corner store been, the same gas station been. It might have changed colors, you know. But just start there. Start there. If
but when you have,
and don't criticize it. Just go from ear to ear. On this day, do not send your child to school.
Well, it's going to take some organization. It's going to take some organizing. It's going to be a lot of work that has to be done. How do we communicate? When
you have the attention of the system, because see, you got to keep them out at least 3 days before they can come talking about compulsory education, and we're going to lock the parent up. 3 to 7 days.
They just cut us off again.
Just one day.
We got to go back live on video. This is funny. Every time you really start hitting about how to organize, then they cut it off. And that's
we don't care. We do
But
not care.
we understand what's going on. We really.
That needs to be the focus. And actually, there is no organization that will spearhead that, because the NAACP don't want to offend the people and the bank people that give them some money. In the Urban League, they get money from the banks and independent contractors and all of that, but they don't want to offend anybody. But a grassroots effort is to just
no picture of the mail yet?
Ear to ear.
It's not coming today.
Ear to ear. And that's how I campaigned for the school board. I had to go to the housing projects. And they didn't even want to let us have a meeting in the room, in the housing project now. They didn't want to, So, we had to go over to the little park area. I sat on top of a picnic table and we had a conversation. And that's just the way it's going to have to be. That's what it is. It's not, you don't need to publicize it in the news, but I tell you what, it will make the news that evening. There were no black children in school today. There was less than 5% of black children in school today. Where were they? That cost is serious. Serious impact.
They're talking about truancy is such an issue. Truancy is.
They go the next.
Well, no,
no, they're not truant.
It's a choice.
They're just absent one day.
Choice.
No conversation.
I hear you, but you just need to
tell you that he wasn't feeling good or she wasn't feeling good.
I said don't.
And then you know what? Wait a while.
I can't even hear you.
Do it again.
I know. I'm just saying, have your life insurance taken out.
Someone will be willing to have a conversation.
So that's why we have to have a conversation. We're having a conversation so we can enable and empower other people to have a conversation.
If you want someone to pay attention to what you have to say, sometimes you have to grab them by the short hairs to get their attention. But I can tell you that they're not kicking children out of school that are necessarily being disruptive or whatever at an early age just for the sake of it. Is the preponderance of dollars is in sending them all through the system and out into the world unprepared. Mm-hmm. When they're over in the youth authority camp, they're getting paid that ADA. Still, they're still.
Yes, and she's right. The ADA stays the same until the child, especially if the child has already been identified as special education. Nothing changes. I'm talking to my. Okay. You just have to do some things by hand. because some things are just the way they are. What you want? The heater? I'll turn it on and we'll oscillate it. There we go. It's a little chilly. It is, let me see, 59 degrees here in Viva Las Vegas. It's sunny Las Vegas right now. It's sunny Las Vegas. You know what? It's sunny in Las Vegas. Yeah. It's 59 degrees. Mm-hmm. And you know, and it matters. It just matters if we understand that we have a job. So therefore, so here we are, living in America, to understand that, oh, latest lawmakers are making news. What are they saying? State lawmakers grapple with the rise in threats. Lawmakers are increasingly concerned about the level of threats at them amid the untucked political violence around the country. Read the whole story. That's on the Hill. Well, let's just play it, because we can. And do that. There we go. I don't hear anything. Oh, the one that. Well, that's still muted. Okay. State lawmakers grapple with rise in threats by Caroline Vackel. State lawmakers are increasingly concerned about the level of threats directed at them amid an uptick in political violence around the country. The most recent incidents occurred in Indiana, where a number of Republican legislators who have not thrown their support behind President Trump's redistricting push were the victims of swatting attempts at their homes. Mm-hmm. That episode came after multiple Minnesota state lawmakers were targeted in June by a gunman, resulting in the deaths of State House Speaker Melissa Hortman, a Democrat, and her husband. Alarm at the local and state levels comes amid rising fears over political violence nationally, which have only grown since the assassination attempts against President Trump last year and the killing of conservative activist Charlie Kirk in September. Anytime a lawmaker is targeted,
such as the horrific assassination that took place this summer in Minnesota, it affects every one of us individually, said Minnesota House Speaker Lisa Demuth, Republican. It changes everyone, it changes our community, it changes the way we do our work, she added. The swatting incidents in Indiana are the latest to raise fears among local lawmakers. Swatting occurs when someone makes a prank call to emergency services, prompting a police or SWAT team response on somebody is home. In this case, a number of Republicans targeted had been called out by Trump for not throwing their support behind his redistricting push. In the wake of Kirk's assassination in September, Utah House Democrats received threatening messages, baselessly accusing them of killing the prominent conservative activist. Around that same time, top Democratic leaders in Oregon's state legislature received emailed bomb threats that turned out not to be credible. Over the summer, several bomb threats were reported at an Illinois hotel where Texas Democrats were staying after they fled their state in protest of a GOP-led redistricting effort. Several months earlier, a gunman assassinated Hortman and her husband and separately injured another state senator and his wife. There is lots of mothers, fathers, sons, daughters in the legislature, said Texas State Representative Ramon Romero, a Democrat, one of the dozens of lawmakers who had to evacuate from their hotel in Illinois. We are still people. Political violence has been a topic of concern at the national level for years. Trump last year suffered injuries after a shooting at his rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. Governor Josh Shapiro's, a Democrat home was set on fire in April. And on Wednesday, 2 National Guard members were shot, one fatally, near the White House. The suspect is an Afghan national who was injured and is currently in custody. Experts say state leaders could face more threats as local politics becomes nationalized. The tides of national politics are sweeping over them, said Robert Pape, a political science professor at University of Chicago. And of course, this includes the tides of political violence. William Braniff, who serves as the executive director of Peril at American University, and who is a top expert on political violence prevention at the Department of Homeland Security, said another factor was the country's charged political rhetoric. The kind of violence we are seeing is becoming more political, more partisan. That is due to hyper-partisan rhetoric from political leadership that is dehumanizing the other party, basically justifying violence against others, even if that is not the intent of the polarizing language. That is how it was heard by many constituents, Braniff said. Trump has become a focal point in these conversations and has garnered criticism for his own rhetoric. Recently, he accused a group of Democrats with national security and military backgrounds of sedition and wrote of them on Truth Social. Seditious behavior, punishable by death. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, Democrat from New York, in a floor speech said Trump has made political violence a feature of his politics. Trump later clarified some of his remarks to Brian Kilmeade on Fox News Radio, saying he was not threatening them or threatening death, while suggesting Democrats were in serious trouble. White House spokeswoman Abigail Jackson, in a statement to The Hill, pointed the finger at Democrats, suggesting their own rhetoric encouraged threats and attacks. That is why President Trump has urged all Americans to commit themselves to the American values for which Charlie Kirk lived and died. The values of free speech, citizenship, the rule of law, and the patriotic devotion and love of God, she said. But President Trump and the entire administration will not hesitate to speak the truth. For years, radical leftists have slandered their political opponents as Nazis and fascists, inspiring left-wing violence. The concern over violence has caused challenges for candidate recruitment at the state and local level. It is really hard to get somebody in the community to step up and run for the role, if when they understand that you are giving up your reputation and you are giving up your physical safety, and those things are weirdly both really strong psychological hits, Coleman said. Lawmakers have taken measures into their own hands, working on bills aimed at keeping themselves safer. In Michigan, for example, State House Judiciary Committee Chair Sarah Lightner, Republican, has worked on several pieces of legislation, including one recently signed into law that allows the sergeants at arms to offer additional security to lawmakers. Another Another piece that just passed the House would allow lawmakers to scrub certain personal information from the public view to make it harder for bad actors to find them, though she noted there would likely be trailer legislation, as some critics have voiced concerns around transparency. We have seen all this political violence all across the country, not with just me as an individual. Other lawmakers get the same thing, Leitner said. And then sometimes our local law enforcement does not necessarily treat it as a threat. Experts also note that at least 9 state legislatures now have a targeted violence and terrorism prevention strategy. Braniff, the executive director of Peril, said he wants to see more lawmakers invested in those initiatives. If you have a good prevention program that identifies people who are struggling and get some help, those people stay in school, they stay in the workplace, he said. They contribute to the tax base, they contribute to their schools and their communities. Pape also said that joint statements from Democrats and Republicans condemning violence is an important part of this solution. Lawmakers, too, see this moment as an opportunity to come together. Minnesota Senate Assistant Majority Leader Nick Frentz, DFL, who called Hortman a friend, likened the situation to a dysfunctional football team or company. This is an opportunity for us to turn a corner and get back to what people really care about, which is a government that works for them and is not fighting each other all the time, Frentz said.
You okay? Yeah. I'm good. Yes, Wendy is it. Meeting of the grassroots. Time for Black Las Vegas to do it for itself. Saturday, December the 27th at 2 p.m. The Muhammad Mosque, 75 1402 D Street, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89106. That's just real. So they're going to have a mosque meeting, but I don't know. It doesn't matter when you're the only one talking and all you see is what you see. And it's kind of well, what can I say? It's only what you see. I have 2 minutes, and I would like to say, please follow me over there on Podbean. Here on Podbean, Citizen Anderson or